Go live. All right. I think we are live on all spots. Yes, we are. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. A few reschedules today, and we finally made it live for today's chat. So if you don't know, although you probably do, I'm Stacey Rasky, best-selling author, speaker, Iraq War veteran, badass biker chick, leadership mentor, mindset coach, and founder of the InFLOWential Leadership Mastermind. And I am honored to be chatting with the phenomenal William Branum. Welcome. How are you doing
Thanks
today?
for having me. I'm
You're
doing awesome. I'm trying to think about, I don't have any of that stuff that you just labeled. I mean, I've been to Iraq and I've ridden motorcycles. Yeah, I'm like, I need to work on my intro a little bit over here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, you have quite the resume. So tightening that up into quite the hefty synopsis would be handy because you're pretty badass.
I'm going to work on that. I'm going to take yours and change it a little bit, put my name on top, and then, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yes, there you go. Right. I mean, come on. 23-year Navy SEAL veteran is pretty nice to lead with. And then being such an amazing advocate for getting people uppers and downers
Right.
as a CBD dealer.
Yep.
That's really good stuff. So, although we're kind of alluding, so I would rather you take a moment to introduce yourself to the audience. Although we have some people who are already like, woohoo, can't wait to see us at the event.
Awesome. William Branum, I spent 26 years in the Navy. 23 of those 26 years, I was in the SEAL teams. I wish they were all 26 in the SEAL teams, but I made some errors along the way. And so that's a story behind that. Let's see. I retired, air quotes for retired. Because I don't think I'll ever retire, whatever. I don't even know what that means, I think. Now I have a CBD company called Naked Warrior Recovery. I talk about the get naked mindset. I also do business and leadership coaching. I do a little bit of speaking from stage, and it actually took me a long time to figure out what I wanted to do. And I actually was just talking to a coaching client right before this call, and he's trying to figure out like what he wants to do, and I think a lot of us do that. We go through life and we think we know what we want, and we hit these goals, and then we're like, oh, what the fuck do I do next? I'm not fulfilled. Like, what do I need to do? And so I think I'm on the right path right now with coaching and speaking and selling CBD, because those things make me happy.
Yeah. And that's what it is, right? About the crafting this lifestyle and this legacy that is built on freedom and fulfillment. It is remarkable how that comes about. And when you're in that zone, when you're really just having so much fun and everything feels so easy. And, even the hard shit feels effortless.
Right. It's still work, but it's like, wow, that felt really good after doing that work.
Exactly. Right.
A good workout. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad. Like, I didn't want to do it. I'm like, I'm sore. I'm like, but then I go do it and I feel really good. It's kind of the same thing.
Exactly. Oh, look, of course I dress nice and now I have a cat in my, come on.
Hi, kitty.
All right. Yeah, you're moving on. I'm
going to use different language, but I stopped myself.
Oh, it's such a cute little pussy. No, it's fine. I get the fuzzy pussy.
It's your show, so
we're both veterans, right? We know how disgusting we are. Mine's always in the gutter. Oh, right. Yes. Hey, Suki. Oh, look, we already getting the comments, right? They love the Naked Warrior CBD line. Naked Warrior Recovery is so good.
Yeah.
I love it. I never leave home without my energy, the CBD energy that you make
and unfortunately we are out of that, and I'm working on some more.
Right.
It was like what they don't tell you in business, like especially in I didn't go to school for business. I joined the Navy and I did all that stuff. And so I decided to start a CBD company or a supplements company, or however you want to look at it. And it's like, I've for sure real world MBA over here, and like trials and tribulations and failures, and like, oh my God, like again, another thing that went wrong. All right, here we go. Like the latest was really like running out, like had orders, and the supply, my distribution center said, oh, we have one box left, and they need 30. And I'm like, okay, take that product offline now and figure out how to make more. It's not a quick process, it's a whole big deal. And what do I have at home? I can refund the guy, or so I had just enough to like, okay, put it in a box and like hit send. And so yeah, so we're working on more.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Well, and I mean, we've had the opportunity to listen to you at some of our influential events in the past, and it was absolutely amazing the feedback that we all got with just the power, the strength, the storytelling, the vulnerability that you brought to what you shared at our event in February. And so I'm super excited that you're returning for our upcoming August 4th event. And I would love for you to share a bit of a teaser of what you're going to be talking about this time, since we've really focused on theming this event as focusing on high performance teams, creating and leading high performing teams. And so, of course, I couldn't think of anybody better to have speak than you.
So, well, thank you. I do get a little imposter syndrome occasionally on it. I have been fortunate enough to lead some pretty high performing teams, and I almost said individuals, but it's a team is just a bunch of individuals that come together for a common cause. And when you can get an entire group of people that are more capable than you, and more alpha, and more whatever, more everything than you, and you get them to do what you want them to do, it's pretty awesome, and a little bit like surreal when it happens. But I got a few tricks here and there.
Just a few. Just a few.
And I think some of the ones that you wouldn't expect are being a little bit vulnerable, asking questions, like really empowering your team. When you empower your team, holy moly, they will run through walls for you.
Well, and that is true. It's definitely something I've noticed within my ecosystem, that the more I lead with that emotional availability, the empathy, the authenticity, the vulnerability, that's what's allowed everyone on the team to become emotionally invested in our mission.
Yeah.
And that's where you get everyone firing on all the same cylinders, where they're showing up and moving forward, and it becomes easy and effortless because there's something way bigger pulling them forward. It's not, the wrong people in the wrong spots. And it's like, it's not a fit for culture or values, or, it's where things are hard. Everyone's right. So inspired, and they're all part of it. We're really co-creating something. And I love that you brought up, right, where you're leading people who are better than you.
Like, I'm not worried. Like, well, how am I in this position right now? Like, I for sure should not be in charge. But
well, yeah, that happens a lot in the military.
So many times. Like, how am I? For example, when 9/11 happened, I was the senior instructor at sniper school, and I was not the senior man, but I was the senior instructor. Like, there were guys going through the course that were senior to me. And then when it all happened, and then they were like, these guys that have been around for a long time, they were like, what do we do now? And I was like, I don't know. Hold on, let me go ask someone who knows more about it. Like, do we like load up and like drive to New York? Do we help with the rescue? What are we doing? And I'm like, hold on, give me a minute. Hey, what do we do? And so they, Um, so I've found myself that, you know, the military is interesting because they don't promote you based on what you have done, a little bit of what you have done, but they promote you on what you can do, what your potential is. And so I don't know how people saw whatever potential in me to put me in charge of, men in combat in dangerous situations, but I did an okay job.
You're alive, and if you didn't lose anyone, that's always a
Right,
win too.
right. Yeah,
I'm like, well, that was kind of the same thing. I put in charge of a few convoy rescue missions, and I did
right,
not lose anyone, even when
right.
we did have a breakdown and we had to go back under fire and
No one
all
likes
this
that.
stuff. Nobody likes that, right? Avoiding ambushes and roadside bombs and all the good stuff. So, although I'm sure yours is way more interesting than mine. Mine sounds sexy, but it was really not.
I mean, it was just a job.
Right? That's the thing. It's like, no, it was just I did what I was supposed to
I just
do.
do. Yeah, it was a Thursday. No big
Yeah.
deal.
It was a Thursday with no sandstorm.
Right.
So it was sunny out, which is a good thing. I love it. It's so funny. So, for those people who have not yet gotten their ticket to attend, obviously you've been to our events since you're part of our influential ecosystem. What would you like to share on for those who are still deciding whether or not to come?
I think if you want to learn some maybe outside the box ways to lead your team, some things that maybe you didn't think of, I would probably attend. I'll be speaking. We've got some other great speakers, but I was at an event last week in California, and from one of my other coaches, and the theme is, what is it? How do they say it? It's something like life changes at live events. Lives change at live events, something like that. So when you're like actually in a room with other people, sharing ideas, asking questions, and doing the sort of this mastermind in person, it's so much more powerful than a Zoom call or a phone call or an email or social media. Like actually being in the room with people that have different experiences than you. Like I love live events. I get so much more value from the live event, from having that face-to-face conversation with whoever it is, someone that I'm coaching, or a client, or just someone else with different experience. Like, how do you solve that problem? Oh, really? I never considered that. But you only get that. And I learned it in the military also. There was a point where they're like, we need to save money and like not travel all over. And I'm like, you lose so much trying to do it over like VTC, video teleconference, or Zoom, if you want to call it that. Then like just being in the room. Like we can do business, but there's other business that happens not in the meeting. And so if you have the opportunity to go, you should definitely go.
You hit on such a powerful point. I mean, there's so much to being immersed in the experience, and the fact that not only is the experience of the workshop or the event going to impact you, but like you said, that all of the people in the room, every single person in there, we're all influencing and impacting each other and co-creating this transformation, to where at least I've seen in our events where people walk out totally different.
Yeah.
They are not the person who walked in that room, and they leave completely different person, because we have that time and space to actually do the work. Not
Yeah.
all events do you get to do that. It's a little bit of a different experience, but no matter what, the live events completely change you from the inside out. And this is one of those opportunities where they're going to get to hear from you, from Brenda Neckvaudel, from Rebecca Plantz, from myself, who are all people who have this plethora of experience, this depth and breadth of knowledge and experience leading and creating high performing teams. We're talking military background, we're talking corporate backgrounds, we're talking business backgrounds. And every person's a leader in all of these different ecosystems, and they're bringing all of this genius and wisdom to help teach you the shortcut for yourself to do this stuff. And it's just amazing. So amazing. All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap up? I think you hit on so many key vital points of why people need to go over to beinfluential.com/event and get your ticket to the event. Not only do you get to be in the room all day, but then if you want to add on the fishing charter, you can. Or beach day. Either way.
There you go. I think the phrase that I was looking for earlier is live events change lives.
Yeah.
Not all live events do you have access to the people who are on stage, the people who are running it. I love your events because they're intimate. They're like impactful, and you have access to everyone that is presenting and sharing, and even like the people who are like there to receive. They are also like, every time I get on stage or I go to an event, I receive just as much as I give, probably more.
It's so good. So good. And thank you, by the way. I appreciate that feedback because you go to a ton of events. And so you get to see, obviously, all the different styles and types and the way all the different ecosystems do things, from the really experiential ones where people are killing themselves working out all the way to the really, really big, high level production experience type ones, which, and kind of all points in between. And that's why I like doing this intimate type setting where it is the people the speakers, like we're all equals in the space and in the room, and we're learning and growing and masterminding and problem solving together. Right. And it's amazing the results that are generated in such a short period of time because of that.
Yeah. So. It's very cool.
So good. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
For joining me. I know we are both super, super busy, and I can't wait to see you in a week and a half. So again, for those of you who don't have your tickets yet, head on over to beinfluential.com/event to grab your tickets to this amazing, amazing event. If you are ready to scale your lifestyle, leadership, and legacy of impact with high-performing teams. And obviously, we'll be getting into a lot deeper stuff than that too. But it's still the focus. There's always good inner work that we'll be touching on for those of you who are like, oh my God, no. It's always mindset. So thank you so 100%. Much, William. Yeah. Exactly. Have an amazing day. And I will see all of you soon because we have one more speaker series interview coming up. So stay tuned. Have a good one.